The UFC has partnered with Bud Light. Did Dana White just kill the brand? We're going to talk about that here today on Speechless. Cut for time. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Speechless Cut for Time. I'm your host, Kev Phares, 22-year-old conservative college student out of Central Illinois, host of Speechless, the radio show on Cities 92.9, the news and talk of Bloomington Normal. But I can't necessarily fit everything I want to into my 2-hour radio show on Sundays, which you can also tune into live here on my YouTube channel. But that's why I make these Cut for Time videos. So everybody, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think, and share this video with your friends. But let's get right on into it. Everybody, out of the Daily Wire, the UFC, Ultimate Fighting Championship, announced that this week that it is partnering with Anheuser-Busch to make the controversial beer brand Bud Light the new official beer of the Mixed Martial Arts Organization. The announcement comes after Bud Light has faced months of declining sales following its partnership with controversial transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney and the company's subsequent failed attempts to quell the backlash. I'm sure many of you participated in the Bud Light boycott. If you're like me, then you still are boycotting Bud Light. Bud Light will become the, quote, official beer partner of the UFC when the partnership goes into effect in January of 2024. Bud Light will now replace Modelo as the UFC's official beer. Modelo took over the top spot as the most sold beer in the United States after Bud Light partnered with Mulvaney back in the spring. Brendan Whitworth, the CEO of Anheuser-Busch, said, quote, Anheuser-Busch and Bud Light have always been on the cutting edge of iconic sporting moments that fans remember forever. And reuniting with UFC is a continuation of this industry-leading legacy. As one of the largest and longest-standing sports sponsors, we are excited to work with the UFC to celebrate our passionate fans while always making a positive impact in communities across America. That was what the CEO of Bud Light had to say after he's had months trying to work his way back after they decided to partner with a man who pretends to be a woman to be a official influencer of their beer brand. I've talked about Bud Light in this controversy a lot. If you guys want to go check out any of my other videos to hear my thoughts on why boycotting is necessary, on Dylan Mulvaney, anything like that, I have plenty of videos. I'll even put one or two coming up there. You can go check those out after you're done with this one. But Dana White is the CEO of the UFC, if you've never heard of him. He's a longtime fighter against cancel culture and an advocate for free speech. Oftentimes, he's quite provocative himself with different opinions and the way that he shares them. And so he's even gone viral for calling out people for cancel culture, for using very provocative language and everything like that. And so it's interesting that he would make the decision to have Bud Light, as Dana White seems to be a little bit more on the right side of the spectrum, that he would have Bud Light as the sponsor. Why did he do this? Well, he's had many press conferences. He had many news appearances explaining this. But let's talk to Dana White ourselves. Well, we're not actually going to talk to him, but here's the video of him at a press conference answering questions regarding this decision.
How easy was that? And then also, were your DMs and comments filled with people wanting to boycott?
Yeah, listen, believe me, if you think that I got into this thinking that wouldn't happen, you're out of your mind. People are very opinionated about this, and it's almost like in the COVID thing, right? Through COVID, what did I say during COVID? Somebody's got to be first. And there were reasons why I felt we could be first going through COVID. Knew that we would do it right. Yada yada yada. You know the story. But when it comes to Anheuser-Busch and Bud Light, this was everybody talks about, oh, you did it for money. Hey, dummies, all sponsorship deals are about money.
He's right. I also want to address real quick the somebody's got to be first mentality. Do they? With COVID, I feel like it's an incomparable analogy, right? Somebody's got to be first with COVID. Absolutely. We're going to get back to normal. And so somebody's got to be first to get back to normal. Makes sense. But did somebody have to be first? Well, one, not all sporting events and sports teams and everything like that pull Anheuser-Busch sponsorships, official beers, anything like that. So the somebody's first mentality, though, one, you're kind of not first. Some people never stop, but you also don't have to be. Nobody has to be first in this instance. You could let Bud Light as a brand die. You could. But let's keep hearing what else he has to say. Maybe there's more rationale behind it.
Okay. So when you talk about being a sellout, I had multiple deals in front of me. So it's not like, oh, Bud Light showed up and they were the only option I had to get money. You know, how stupid that is to think that, this was all about, and I said this yesterday, and I'll say it again. Everybody on every side of this deal that were involved, other beer companies and everything else, absolutely positively know that this was not about money for me. We were going to end up with money with no matter who we ended up with. For Anheuser-Busch, it was about values, core values for me.
What are those values?
I'm at a point in my life and I'm at a point in my career where nothing is just about money anymore. I am very aligned, and I saw some other today saying, "Oh, it sounds like they wrote him a script on what to say." Nobody writes me a script.
Yeah, nobody writes Dana White a script.
Nobody tells me what to say, ever. I do things because when I come out and I say something publicly, if you look at every quote, right, that I put out, you can ask Lene, every quote is me. Every quote is me. Everything that's posted on social media is me. And everything that comes out of this mouth is me. Nobody tells me what to say and nobody tells me what to do, ever. And the things that I said about Anheuser-Busch and Bud Light yesterday are absolutely true. I am a big military law enforcement guy. They have this Folds of Honor where they've spent $44 million over the last however many years.
Makes sense.
Fallen first responders and military people, their families get taken care of with this money, scholarships for their kids, etc. That is right up my alley. Almost $1 billion a year go to U.S. farmers for their crops, for their products. That is right up my alley. That's exactly who I am. 65,000 Americans are employed by Anheuser-Busch, and thousands of them are vets. Right up my alley. And I could keep going on and on forever and tell you why I am more aligned with Anheuser-Busch than any of the other beer companies that were offering to pay us money.
Very interesting. Okay, so let's break this down a little bit as to exactly what he said there. Let's start off with the fact of the matter is when he talks about values are very, very important, obviously, to him. And he lists some of the things that they have done to demonstrate some level of values to military, first responders, farmers, etc., which I also commend those kinds of efforts. But the fact of the matter is that Anheuser-Busch abandoned their core values. They abandoned their core customers' values and even the values of many of the employees that Dana White discussed. What did they do instead? They favored the woke pandering that a lot of companies are doing, whether that's because of ESG scores and BlackRock, Vanguard, things that we all know about, things and for that, or if it's simply, as the marketing VP had said, I think it was like Alyssa Heinerschneid was her name, was it for the purpose of trying to distance themselves from their fratty brand idea? I don't know. But they abandoned all those core values in favor of woke pandering that actively promoted the abandonment of truth while also insulting women through perverse gender ideology. Now, is this enough? Is Dana White having that's my message to Dana White is that's where the values come in. Look, they have some great values, but then they also tried to use those values to pander back to the people that they had lost. To be like, oh, no, we don't actually believe that. No, look at all the other great stuff that we do. Yeah, but that doesn't negate or ignore what you did with Dylan Mulvaney. Is this enough? Is this decision enough for me to boycott the UFC? Do I think the UFC brand is dead? No, and probably not, to both of those respectively. The fight here is still against Anheuser-Busch. I've never gone to UFC fight live, I'll admit that. I've only ever watched them from home. But I can tell you, if I ever did go to a live fight, I wouldn't be drinking at it. As hard as it would be for me, because I am a college kid, and I do like the occasional beer. Not Bud Light, though. And I understand Dana White's perspective, and I respect it. I get it. I support efforts that help farmers, vets, and first responders, and people that genuinely care and love this country and the values that we hold here. But in his statement and in all the statements I've seen, he's never actually acknowledged the egregious mistake made by Bud Light that caused this to be a controversial decision in the first place. And that's why. No, I'm not calling for a UFC boycott. I'm not calling for everybody to hate Dana White. I can understand his perspective. I just think that it's kind of wrong, or at least negates a large reason as to why this is a controversial decision in the first place. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel. Everybody, please subscribe, share this channel with your friends, share this video with your friends so they can subscribe too. And once again, please comment. God bless you guys. God bless America. And until next time, this has been Speechless. Cut for time.